to really cobble together their most lethal weapons. We will see. It's never that easy, Phil, but this team, Real Betis, in the 31 league matches have conceded 61 goals. So you would imagine, even without Neymar, the magic man that is Messi, and his teammates will have plenty of firepower to put the Verde Blancos down. We will see. As I said, even the little cherubs looking down there know that there's something not quite right at Camp Nou lately. They've been a little bit off, not as much on the field, but off the field. There have been all sorts of concerns and troubles and crisis this year around Barcelona, and it seems that as soon as Tata Martino showed up, there was one catastrophe following another crisis, and it's happened again this week. Barcelona banned for 2 transfer windows and signing any new players, and that has caused all sorts of consternations. It will be challenged, and they've got to forget that's because there's business to be taken care of here today.
Take a look at the starting lineups, and as you can see, Oyer Olazabal is going to be a man of the spotlight, because with Valdez out, he's the backup for Pinto. Martin Montoya getting the start on the bench. It'll be Dani Alves along with Adriano on the flank. Jordi Alba suspended today. And up front, no Neymar, but is that Alexis, Messi, Pedro tandem or trio that has been the most productive for Barcelona this year. Eduardo Prieto Iglesias, the 32-year-old newcomer from Pamplona. And as you might expect from a man from the hometown of Osasuna, he likes to let them play. Less than 4 yellows a match, only 1 penalty all season long. Now, not that Calderon is going to have Betis out with their daggers between their teeth, but he knows that they need to defend well today.
Certainly, Betis look absolute certainties to take the drop into the second division, Phil, but they will come out proudly here today and try to batten down the hatches, and this is what they're going with. Adan in goal, the ex-Real Madrid man. He'll be looking to be sharp. He'll need to be a colossus.
Ryan Rodriguez, the Uruguayan, and the veteran striker Jorge Molina, who has claimed a scalp or 2 against Barca in the past. Starting this one on the bench, it will be Leo Batistao, the former Vallecano project, who could be on his way to Atletico very quickly. Vadillo and Cedric, who has been an entertainer this season, although not of late. So Adan trying to keep mighty Barcelona out. Barcelona trying to catch up with Atletico. Betis trying to save their season.
Messi, as ever, always involved. He'll have Electric Sanchez on one side, but he will have a defence, Phil, that is, well, if we said it was cobbled together, we'd be doing cobblers a big service, because this team missing the inspirational captain, the mopped head Tarzan, that is Captain Carles Puyol, and Piqué out for 3 to 4 weeks with a fractured hip.
Betis in their familiar green and white stripes. Barcelona in the Blaugrana attacking from the left. That band of sunshine making its way smaller and smaller towards the far side touch. Ready to talk about the story of 2 seasons. Gerardo Martino coming in off to a great start, and then all of a sudden, not just speaking of cobblers, one shoe after another seemed to fall. For Betis, this is a team that finished in 7th place last year, qualified for Europe, but Benyat departed, and it seems like he took his luck with him. Betis stretched perhaps beyond repair.
Well, they frame it nicely, Phil, but this is a team that's been competitive lately away from home. Got a good record. They haven't been exactly winning it and lighting it up as you would expect, but this is a team that has really fought strongly for their colours, and Real Betis is a historic team, of course. It's been a lot of years since they've won LaLiga back in 1934, but they've gone 3 games unbeaten away from home in LaLiga. They haven't done that since the year of 2008, so I'm looking for any type of positives for the Verde Blancos, but they ain't many. They're going to be facing the hammers of hell for the next 90 minutes. This is a game that Barcelona cannot afford to drop a single point, of course, with the way this Primera of Spain is going, neck and neck coming down the stretch. Real Madrid, of course, playing wonderful football, but shown 1 or 2 little shakes lately, but Atletico de Madrid is not.
One thing I would say, early goal would really help calm Barcelona's nerves. Here's Batistao. He and Cedric, the creative ones. Ball chipped in. Good chance. Badillo tries to touch to the middle. Bartra cuts it off. Good play by Nono. It was yes for Betis.
Lovely ball played over the top from Nono, and Badillo here just tries to cut across, and this is good defending by Marc Bartra, reading him like a nursery rhyme book and shepherding him out. Good challenge by the youngster. Good look at the kid. Top class he's going to be.
He's going to have to be a man, not a kid, for the rest of this season. Towards the 6, cleared away. Piqué out for close to a month. Fractured pelvis. Anyways, that's going to keep him from training even. Under the middle, cleared away, far side. Busquets dropping back. Lowering the shoulder, lowering the boom, Antonio Amaya. Good control, Cedric, well, maybe not. Likes to come from the left, starting in the right today. Badillo already having some success, and good pressure up front. Not exactly what Calderon was talking about. Sounded like he was going to pretty much park the team bus and the fan bus that made the trek from Sevilla. But they've actually been pushing forward in these opening minutes. At a 600-mile trek, they do have the AVE, the high-speed rail, but if you can, a lot of the fans would take the plane to get to Barcelona. Not that many this year, considering the team's only won once away from home. Juanca, who's moving back from a wing to a wing back today for Betis. 5th minute.
This game for Barcelona should not be a problem in terms of being totally focused, even though that Wednesday night game is a huge one. They fully recognise that there's nothing to be taken for granted, even against this team that is supporting the rest of all of the teams at the bottom of La Liga. We've shown 1 or 2 signs this year against the lesser lights. And up against this man, Gabriel Calderon, Argentina man.
3rd boss this season for Betis.
Good play on his own right. He knows his football all right. Ex-Racing Club and Independiente. Argentina international, this gentleman.
Iniesta, who's arguably been the player best in form of late. Although he still had to share a bit of time with Neymar, who's also coming to form, but there's so many games piled back to back now for Barcelona. Need to find a rhythm. Messi trying to sneak it in for Alves.
Talking about finding a rhythm, Phil. The way this team has been decimated with key players, and now losing Victor Valdez, of course, and relying on the flying ponytail. There's a lot of adjustments to be made. The chemistry is not what it should be, but they're still star-studded and they are still Barcelona and they still have Messi.
Into the top for Alexis to flex, but the offside flag had come up. Barcelona looking for their 25th win of the season today. Betis with just 5. Top offense, second best defense in Spain against the second worst in both categories. They play the game for a reason. Well, we saw it in England just a week ago. On paper, Chelsea should have decked Palace. Didn't quite work out that way, and I'm sure Betis is hoping that follows suit here today. Of course, their ex-boss, Pepe Mel, also in a bit of a survival bout himself. Mel let loose last year when Carlos Garrido stepped in for about 6 weeks in the middle of the season. That didn't work out, and then Calderon stepping into the hot seat.
Great tackle.
No. Denying Alexis. Good touch back. Juancar up the line. Nice from Batistao, the young Brazilian, but it didn't bounce his way.
A beautiful ball.
Controlled. Loves to cut back to his right. Forgot something.
Had a bad rub. He didn't forget anything.
Juanfran making things difficult.
A wonderful ball from Mascherano. That's what Tata Martino loves out of that man. Brilliant.
Alexis to Iniesta, but behind Messi.
Doesn't matter who they play, whether it's Real Madrid or Real Betis, they know that they're going to be faced up against a very deep-lying defensive team, and the patient possession of Barcelona will gradually take its toll, but full credit to this Betis team. They've come out very sharp, and they're not, as you said, Phil, parking the bus like everybody expected. They thought they'd park the bus and really raise it on cinder blocks, slash the tyres and take the engine out here today, but it's not the way they've started. They're looking to grab this lead. Lucky, nice feed, intentionally trying to stab that ball into the lone forwards. Vadillo strayed, just overhitting it. Another great ball from Xavi.
Onto his right, tries to sneak it down the goal line. This ball from
Xavi is fabulous, and the first time ball should have been played from Electric Sanchez. And look at this. Watch the supporting run. He's onside. Xavi finds him. Look at this supporting run right there from Pedrito, and he needed the ball first time. He was wide open. Brilliant supporting run, running square to Alexis, and didn't identify it, but what a ball from Chameleon Eyes again.
Oh. And chance inside, slamming into the post is Bartra. Looked like he had a good chance as Adan was hesitant.
Just a couple of big bushy eyebrows away from making a connection there, Mark. Beautiful
Bartra.
Ball played in, and just an inch away from making full contact with that.
Bartra still caught up field. Betis trying to take advantage. Busquets dropping to cover. Wide for Vadillo. Xavi on defense, showing he's still got it. Down the line. No again. Tangled and tripped, but the foul against Betis.
Oh, so close to meeting the train at the station here. Look at this. That's a great effort. He just takes his focus off a little bit, but that's shades of Captain Tarzan coming in, swinging in on the vein from young Mark.
Although Puyol and arguably Piqué would have converted. Ball inside, meeting Xavi. What a stop by Adán. Well met on the volley and well met near the goal line.
The fabulous ball from Adriano, and the strike was even more fabulous. Amazing strike from this wonderful man, Xavi Hernandez, and the Real Madrid, ex-Real Madrid man, denies him down to a jungle cat quick, and it's hopping towards him. That's tremendous. What a ball from Adriano to pick Xavi out as well. Wonderful football and wonderful goalkeeping.
Trying to force his way through Batistao. Saw Adán at his best. After all, you don't get to Real Madrid if you're chopped liver, but kind of thrown under the heat lamp by Mourinho. Did not respond well. In fact, first half of the season, he was without a job. Finally hooked up with Cagliari. That didn't work out. Now trying to save Betis.
This was a goalkeeper who was famously called better than Iker Casillas by Jose Mourinho at the time.
Back for Xavi. And again, think about that. If you're Antonio Adán, imagine how giant those shoes and gloves felt then.
It was never run.
A little slip. Door opened. Cedric couldn't get it out of danger. Pedro challenging, bumped into by Lolo.
Nice little ball from Iniesta. Lolo tracking back. It was a push, but it's no way of getting a penalty there. Spine of this Barcelona team, as we said, being ravaged, but Tata Martino adjusting his deck and feels as if, well, he doesn't have many options. He's going to go with Marc Bartra. It's a wonderful baptism of fire. He's come through the earlier ones wonderfully, emerging talent, no question about it, and he's going to get his indoctrination to true pressure in the next few weeks. Good way to alleviate some of that pressure is by capitalising on their opportunities. They create them countlessly and numerically in their possession game. Of course, there's no finer club in the world, but in order to relieve some of that pressure from the back, Barcelona's got to capitalise more than they have. They continually create chances, but they're not putting them away.
Alexis is almost single-handedly draws the trip, and the penalty is called.
Finally by this referee. Beautiful dancing by Alexis, and I think he gets the warning from his assistant as well. Watch this. Beautiful hocus pocus, not once, twice, but a half a dozen times. He attracts the defenders like iron filings to a magnet. The step over again, and there, right here, he gets his leg clipped. Is it enough for him to go down? I'm not so sure. Figueres comes in and definitely makes contact with that standing leg. Maybe Alexis was looking for it. You've got to be careful in that penalty box against players like that.
Messi to convert, and he makes it look easy. Adán diving to his left, and Messi taps it behind him.
There's the pressure release valve that they needed, and you can sense it. Messi with a wonderful dispatch again. Sends it down the wrong way and makes him his little lollipop.
24th goal of the season.
Steps up, sees the goalkeeper with that incredible vision of his, leaning to one side, and in a nanosecond, Messi adjusts his gyroscope right there. He sees that subtle shift of his weight and sends it the wrong way. Beautiful. We'll take a look at it later on, Phil. There'll be people saying that Alexis maybe went down a little too easy, but his leg was clipped.
Again, Jordi Figueres just rattled by the moves. Alexis had dribbled through the defense twice. Here he is again, but this time offside. Figueres with a nice tackle this time. Ray, that's one of the things, though, when you have players like a Neymar, like an Alexis, as we watch the offside, like a Messi, they have the ball so close to their feet like it's velcroed on. It's hard to be a defender and not foul.
One of the most basic statements that is constantly overlooked. They call it the penalty box for a reason. You have to be more careful. It's the way the rules were designed when they were first drawn up. That this area around the goal, that's hallowed ground in many ways for defenders and forwards. You have to be more careful with your challenges. You wonder though, Phil, if that call outside of the penalty box is given, the referees adjust their attitudes once they're inside of the box, and rightfully so.
I think it's even more likely it would have been given outside, which means it should have gone in.
Yeah.
Now the other point, I know a lot of fans, critics, coaches, players talk about that triple penalty when it might have been a breakaway on goal and a red card could have come. But as you said, penalty box for a reason. It's there to try and increase the attack and punish cynical defending.
Well said.
Nice from Alexis, who has been sparkling today. Stolen away, though, by Juanfran. Moreno down into the corner. The cross a little opportunistic and optimistic. Leo Batistão couldn't bring it in.
Well, it was a wonderful ball from Juanfran. Good support again. They're stretching themselves out here. The Betis.
2v4, but one of them is Messi.
No.
Alexis just can't find him. Messi, 24 goals, one back of the ailing Diego Costa, 4 back of Cristiano Ronaldo. And Ray, remember, Barcelona has averaged nearly 4 goals a game the last 5 meetings against Betis. He could get those today. Busquets getting tangled up with Delgado. Jose Antonio Delgado, better known as Nono.
As impressive as a start as has been for the green and whites. No challenge on Pinto yet. He's never really been called for anything, and that's heartening for Barcelona fans that his defenders in front of him have been very solid, and the midfield covering. And as I said, this team really damning the torpedoes in green and white and coming out of their shell nicely, but this is what it leads to, stretched out.
Trying to scoop it through for Messi. No. Back to Juanfran. Juanfran and Juancar, the 2 flank players around Amaya and Figueres. Both of them, Juanfran and Juancar, Real Madrid youth products. So you know something special going up against Barcelona today for the flank players.
And got their own very good youth products as well in Vadillo and no. It's a good ball.
And a run for Cedric, catching Mascherano. Pinto down quickly.
Good defending again from Mascherano, right on top of the danger man. The Congo Youth International. Big Cedric releasing himself nicely. Beautiful control.
Alexis, top of the box, waiting for a run, and thought Messi would make it. Not quite clicking yet.
Shades of the chip going through Electric Sanchez's head from his wonderful goal against Real Madrid a few weeks ago. He doesn't pull the trigger that time over Dan, who was well out. I thought he was going to go for that chip.
There you see the website, the Twitter feeds. Of course, What a day it was today.
It's a little short for young Bartra. Does absolutely brilliantly.
Alves with a look away. Jai clearing it down the line.
Pinto leaving that one a little bit short of Bartra, and then he gets a better course player right on top of him and has the nonchalance to just kiss it past the on-rushing player. Wonderful. That's a great ball.
And a charge up the far flank. Adriano to the middle. And it flies past Pedro and Alves to boot. Alves thinking it was touched, but Prieto points for a goal kick.
Magical football from Barcelona. It begins with you-know-who. And it's a 10 out of 10 ball for Adriano, who sees his targets running in. He's offside. The ball played in. And then Jordi just taking a touch to get it out of danger anyhow. But how that one doesn't end up in the net is pretty miraculous. What a little touch by the 26-year-old Jordi.
Far side. Juan Fran again. Making the run. Batistao. Bartra. And Jai stepping up. Badillo.
How refreshing to see this Betis team. You've got to give them full credit. You really, really do. They're not just coming out and damning the torpedoes. They're doing it with some elan. They're doing it with some style and playing proper football and doing the Spanish league proud. Living on the hope of something happening magical at the end of their approach play. They just haven't been wicked enough with the final touch, but impressive.
Ray, for yet another week, it is Atletico, Barcelona, and Real Madrid playing back to back to back. Of course, Atletico getting the goal from Garcia with Costa a bit nicked. Real Madrid still to come. And no Ronaldo in that one, and I'm not sure Ancelotti is making the right decision. This is arguably their last tough La Liga game. Of course, the dreams of La Decima still in their head.
Magic again.
Nice from Xavi.
Wonderful.
Was afraid of offside, so Adriano just kept his foot on the brakes.
Strange. I think he'd put it in reverse. He's looking at Xavi in possession, and he's looking at that back line, and he cannot seemingly keep himself on a level with the last defender. That's what Xavi was hoping he'd do. Wonderful disguise from Xavi, being absolutely foot perfect. You're talking about the team that wears the royal whites in Madrid, leaving Cristiano out in all reports ahead of their big clash later on after this game, Phil. But Tata Martino not taking any risks at home against the green and whites. He could have played Alex Song, he could have played Sergio Roberto, Christian Tello, players like this that have never let him down, but not taking anything for granted. And
Ray, even if it's as the ball played back to Pinto, a Sergi Gomez or a Banyak, I mean, this is the game. You're playing the team that's number 20 by a long shot.
yeah.
The rest of the way, it gets tougher.
Nicely.
Good cover, one cut.
Needed to play it into space and not right onto the foot of Dani Alves. Could have led him there, Alexis.
Badillo calmly back to Figueres. Right, if Betis goes down, I'm not sure Cedric is going down with them.
Sergio Busquets letting Bartra know a little bit there, barking at the youngster. This is what they do, learning on the job. You know that these youngsters can take the verbal carpet tax that gets spitted at them. Nice ball.
Bartra playing it safe. Ray, the one thing, even with Piqué and Puyol out, Bartra has arguably been the best defender for Barcelona throughout the season, but the depth from this point out gets a little shaky.
Yeah, I thought Piqué was starting to find his best form, to be honest,
Xavi.
Phil. That's a good ball.
Wide for Adriano, who's actually had to play some inside defense this year.
Sad for Piqué, just as he was finding, in my opinion, his best run of form, arguably all year. He'd been playing wonderful defensive football and coming down that big fall after winning the ball fair and square against Diego Costa and landing on his, it seemed to be on his tailbone right at the bottom of his spine, but as you said, it's been recognised as his pelvis, that the small fracture is there.
Mascherano. Good run by Alves. Alves cuts to the inside, but it got away.
Seeing that this team under Calderon's been playing well away from home against Malaga on Monday night, it looks as if they were really home and dry. 1-0. They were winning 83 minutes into the game, but then falling badly in the end.
Boy, did they need those 3 points too.
Yeah, 2-1 it was that Malaga roared back. It was, as you said, crucial 3 points that let slip away. Look out.
Messi caresses the ball to keep it in.
Good ball again.
Alves tried to feed it back.
Wonderful understanding. They play those 1-2s over 70 yards in pre-game rehearsals, but they cannot find each other there. Tough luck.
Vadillo with Batistao, and Vadillo handcuffed by Bartra.
19-year-old Alvaro Vadillo, still learning his footballing alphabet. Set himself up nicely for a strike, and then he's got to be braver and really hit it with authority.
Across to Bartra. Messi. Spotted Iniesta. Almost threads it through for Pedro. Amaya and Moreno shutting the path.
Ball from Messi, seeing the obvious passes and then going the alternate route as he always does. The road less travelled is Messi's highway.
Busquets with the tackle play on. By the way, Njai and Cedric both pushing forward. Betis throwing some numbers up. No. To Juanfran. Again into the middle, and Njai then over to Batistao. Met by Vadillo, but he volleys it into orbit.
Nice considerate passing from the Verde Blancos. And here, as you say, is another replay of the penalty. Take a look. 3 defenders on him. Drives past, puts the brakes on there, and
as you like to say,
absolutely clipped.
Hard to run without your legs. His foot just got caught, hooked by Jordi. Although Pelé coming out this week, and not with Alexis, but with his compatriot Neymar, saying he thinks he'd be an even better player if he would not dive as much. Alexis also has a bit of that reputation. Of course, Lionel Messi does not. When he goes down, it seems to take a howitzer to get him off his feet. Sails over Pedro far side, and Juanfran Moreno getting set to put it back in. "17 minutes remain. Njai down the line. The big Parisian-born Senegalese mid into the center for Nono. Poked free. Now Alves looking for a lane. 5-7 and 19 for Betis. 1-4 and 10 away. They're the bottom in every offensive and defensive category. That's a pretty good equation for relegation.
Strange though, Phil, isn't it? This team was in the Europa League last year.
Deservedly.
7th place and playing some impressive football. It's really come apart at the seams and sad.
Ball into the midfield now. A chance for Badillo. Batistao.
Beautiful from the young step. Nothing in support.
Gets the fortunate bounce into the box. Looking for help and drops it back. Now a hole in the middle. Maybe a chance for Reyes, the Chilean. And Jai wide for Juanfran. Cedric chomping at the bit. Ray, it was being stretched by the Europa challenges, but also losing Beñat Echeverría back to Athletic Bilbao, taking some of the depth away.
Sure, some of the magic as well. Wonderful player, Beñat. That's a good ball.
Chance now on the near side for Pedro.
Went for it.
Whips it across Jordi, looking for Iniesta, but cleared by Juanfran. Only as far as Busquets.
Great ball. Oh, magic.
Messi making Jordi disappear.
Genius from Busquets. Oh.
Back to the middle.
Busquets sets up Messi with an absolute incredible hall of mirrors pass. Messi does equally as beautifully to get out of instant pressure.
Carlos Puyol was on the roster for this match, but a scratch when it came down for the dress 18. Neymar, Teo, and Fabregas, the offensive substitutions available. Alexis
talking about the football focus of this Barcelona team. They're not playing the football in the shirts here today, but Barcelona FC's focus as a club has been really shook to the foundations all year long, Phil, with all sorts of really distracting big situations that really make you wonder just what's going on, not on the field. That's always pretty much taken care of in its own beautiful way, but behind the scenes, Phil, there's some really tough situations that this Barcelona team are having to suffer through, and you just wonder when it's ever going to end. It's just been one of those years. I called it the annus mirabilis in Latin. Shocked you with my Latin, I know, but still, there's no disguising it. There's something seriously wrong with the running of the club in a lot of ways. It's always being investigated for something or other, and that's not Barcelona's way. Remember, this is a team that paid UNICEF, paid the actual UNICEF organisation to wear their wonderful crest on the shirts, and they hold themselves to a higher standard. And all of the things that's been happening this season has really been very un-Barcelona-like, and it would be a tragedy for any club to have to face this, but for Barcelona, and especially the new arriving coach Tata Martino, has been very unstabilising.
Looking for Alves, met well at the edge of the box, sweeps it to the middle. Alexis, no chance as Amaya pinched in. Some would say that it's Barcelona's own doing. Arsene Wenger even coming out saying they know the rules.
Fabulous from Busquets. Busquets.
Chance for Xavi, deflects away off of Figueres and out for the corner.
Busquets plays this genius ball over the top to Pedro on a full volley. We'll probably not see it, but I'll get our producers to show you at half-time, people. Fabulous football from Sergi Busquets to pick out Pedro, who tries to find chameleon eyes.
Almost glancing it back, Busquets didn't quite get enough hair on it. Swept across to Alves. He's got a cannon, but the ex-Sevilla man hasn't shown it as much this year. Trickles through for Messi onside. On that left foot, glued as he turns the corner. Flips it into the middle for Bartra. Alves keeps it alive. Chipping it across, but over everyone.
Crowd letting Messi know, even in failure, they adore his footballing talent. Rounds the defenders one after another. Tremendous play. Skirts around the defenders beautifully. Juan Carlos there, left in his wake.
Good pressure from the green and white at times, but as you pointed out, never quite getting to that final hurdle. There was one or two chances that Pinto barely needed to sweat for. On the other side, Adan has had to stay on his toes, but it's still just 1-0.
Corresponding fixture last. Yeah, the situation for Messi wasn't too good either. He had a tough time against Real Betis.
Blasted across, deflected towards the near post, and Amaya gives his apologies, but Adan grateful it didn't go in. Lifted, Bartra cut off Adan. Good hustle. Juan Perez, though, could not keep it under control.
Looks like Real Betis has really looked at the fellow strugglers. Real Valladolid game against Barcelona, when Valladolid really put the cat amongst the pigeons from their low position and beat Barcelona 1-0. It's wonderful play again from Messi.
Alves dropping it back, laid off by Alexis, not quite enough. Messi scoops it, just deflects off Juan Fran's head, slowing Pedro down. Pedro, Iniesta, good tackle by Cedric. Now Njai off to the races. Just lost his footing, bit of a collision, but no call for the big man for Betis.
Wonderful approach play by Barcelona, and as you said, Phil, Alexis just a little bit too heavy with that touch. Stopped the ball, just needed to be kissed on to Messi. Would have been the end of a wonderful sequence of choir passes. Again, magic.
Messi reaches back and the ball finds his foot. Alexis double teamed.
Good defending again. Betis, Jordi and Amaya coming across. Carlos again.
Strong run by Cedric. 2v3. Cedric Mabuati dragging Busquets wide. Mascherano to the corner. Cross deflects out. No, they're going to say off.
Wow.
The Congo winger, no complaints or arguments.
Strong, brave run, but he paints himself into an awful corner. Live time, I thought he got last deflection off Mashi. Crowd wanting another one before half time.
Messi now 350 official goals, 239 in LaLiga. And again, only trailing the great Telmo Sada, but only by 12. Could catch him before the end of the year, but he'll likely need a few more goals today. And he might get it here. Messi through the legs, finally tangled up outside the arc. No call, and it's Leo Batistao. And a tough tackle by Busquets.
Wonderful slide, reaching in with those legs have become telescopic. Tremendous Sergio Busquets. Does it one way and does it another. Good ball.
Smashed away by Figueres, top of the box. Alves, edge of the area, wins it back. Alexis in the middle, forced through, but then cleared away by Jordi. Vadillo, a little push from behind by Bartra.
Got to time it to perfection. He actually misses the ball at first, but he's tracking down like a cheetah on a gazelle. Comes across, misses the ball, clips the player, and then he is able to dip in again.
It will not carry.
Good run by Papistao.
A couple of years ago, really started to shine for Vallecano. Atletico liked him, bought him, but they're loaded. So loaned him out. Here's Messi, just behind Iniesta's slashing run. Betis down by just one, but they better try and take advantage of that fortune.
Again, Sergi reading the dipping and diving.
Iniesta charging in, looking for Messi or Xavi. And Alexis will chase the loose ball. Nonosa, Caro, Didac Villa, Salva Sevilla, another good playmaker. Matia, Xavi Torres, Nacho or Trulli. Betis a bit bereft.
Sergio Busquets hearing his name being cheered around this stadium for some wonderful defensive play.
Nice from Batistao, threaded but not hard enough. Well read Adriano. Busquets has been phenomenal on the day. Xavi make that Iniesta with a bit of a back heel flick to Messi, top of the box, and somehow curls it just wide of the post.
Beautiful play again. He's set up by Sergio Busquets. It's Rias that comes to the rescue for Real Betis. Right here, comes across, just to do enough to rush Lionel Messi. Jordi in front of him. Leo just cannot get that fine angle. A wonderful setup again.
Just the slimmest of leads. The ex-Huachipato man, Reyes. Strong pass to Vadillo, drives on Alves, edge of the chalk, cuts to the inside. Xavi. But it will be a corner for Betis. And again, these have been set plays, corners specifically, the Achilles heel for Barcelona's defense.
Oh, This Betis team have got plenty of big boys if they want to take advantage of that. Jordi, 6'1", Amir, 6'4". Big lads.
Edge of the 6. Hits a couple of heads, cleared to the top of the box. Hint of a handball, and Jai with the big hit as he's falling down.
From Mascherano to come across, and he sacrifices his body here.
Dio dribbles it into touch.
He just launches himself across and just blocks it, it seemed, with his body, Phil. Wonderful strike. Nothing called by the referee. That could have been curtains for Barcelona there.
And what a time it would have been heading to the dressing room, but they have to equalize. There's still a chance. Nice from Njai. Off of Mascherano it appeared, but Betis not getting the call from Francisco Garcia. Njai coming up through Nancy.
Spent a little bit of time at Sunderland in the northeast of England as well for a short amount of time as the youngsters look on.
Cuenca is injured. Alba suspended. And Afellay in somewhere in the inferno. Nice turn.
Nice turn.
Taken right back though, Maya. And the foul against Iniesta.
In this man, it is so highly underrated and gets criticised for some of the lesser light parts of his game, but Sergio Busquets, absolutely astonishing skill under pressure, and people can call it risky, but when you've got that sort of brilliant talent that he has, it's very, very rare that he ever gets caught in possession.
Alexis pushing it back because he had faith in the defense. Cleared away though and gobbled up by Betis. Well, the way they've played today is not like you would expect the 20th place team in the table to play. Well, they have yet to test Pinto. And unless something changes over the next 30 seconds plus. And there's the double turn by Busquets.
Again, slow motion. Doesn't know justice whatsoever.
Juan Perez. Bartra with Njai staying forward. Forces the turnover. Lifted back. Xavi plucks it out of midair. And that will do it on the stroke of 45. Prieto sends them to the dressing room, and the goal from Messi from the spot, the difference at the half.
Yeah, Messi capitalizes after Electric Sanchez produces his wonderful rabbit out of the hat trick inside of the box, inviting a challenge by poor Jordi Figueres. But Barcelona still looking for number 2.